The Owl House has officially entered its endgame stages for its story as of last week's episode, King's Tide. Emperor Belos has more or less been defeated and the Day of Unity draining spell has been stopped. The only issue left being is the Collector is now free from his mirror prison. A star child with godlike powers comparable to Gravity Falls' Bill Cipher. This kid quite literally one-shot Belos and moved the moon with his finger from the surface of the Boiling Isles. Emphasis on the word kid. While technically being around/alive for hundreds of years like Belos, he's still got the body and mindset of a young child. Quite a deadly combo to have all that power with, huh? So Luz and her friends are inevitably going to need to go back to the Demon Realm to stop/make sure the Collector's game doesn't go too far in order for the rest of the Boiling Isle citizens to go back to their regular lives. Though the question is, just how are Luz and her gang going to stop the strongest character in the entire show? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about in this video. Let's be perfectly clear, the likelihood of the good guys defeating the Collector with their own magical abilities are extremely low. These guys were barely able to hold their own against Monster Belos, aka the form of Belos that got one-shot by the Collector's finger. Unless Luz's egg talisman hatches into something that has the capacity to reform reality, it's not happening. So the first scenario I have in mind is beating the Collector at a game that has stakes to it/tricking the Collector via a game. If you're a longtime Owl House viewer, then you should be no stranger to seeing characters in the show initiate deals with each other/make specific promises with each other. Just to name some examples here, Lilith made her deal with Belos that if she brought Ida into the Emperor's Coven, Belos would heal Ida's curse. Belos made a deal with the Collector that if the Collector taught Belos the draining spell to wipe out all life in the Demon Realm, he would free the Collector once the spell is complete. Belos making his deal with Bluefang as well as Luz and Lilith in order to get into the chamber where the Collector's mirror was being held. Belos is usually the most common participant here when it comes to these situations. Then most recently, King making his deal with the Collector to stop the draining spell if it means the two of them will play the game Owl House together, presumably at the Collector's own pace. Considering how situations like these have played crucial parts in a lot of these episodes and the overarching plot of the Owl House in general, it wouldn't feel out of the ordinary for something like this to happen right before or during the climax of Season 3. And I think the perfect person to triumph over the Collector would be King. There's not a ton of evidence to back this up, but I think it would bring everything full circle with its character in a sense, with King's father being the other Titan to imprison the Collector all those years ago, potentially doing this by playing hide and seek with the Collector. I say that because the Collector said King's dad hid King, then proceeded to ask King right after if he likes hide and seek.
I've always wanted to play with you, but your dumb pops hid you. Hey, do you like hide and seek?
Basically, King will win a game, presumably the game of Owl House, with a condition that if King wins the game, the Collector has to go back to space or something since the Collector originates from the stars, or the Collector will be forced back into his mirror prison if he loses. King could also cheat his way to the win, resulting in the previous two outcomes potentially happening so the Collector won't mess with reality anymore. Granted, I think the likelihood of King going about it in this manner isn't as likely as the former, considering King essentially sacrificed himself at the end of Season 2 to not only save Luz, but to keep his deal with the Collector genuine at the same time. It would be a bit out of character for King to trick/cheat against the Collector to win, in my opinion. I just figured I'd throw out the possibility. The second possibility in mind is Luz or King using Talk no Jutsu in an attempt to mellow out the Collector's wild side. If you don't know what Talk no Jutsu means, it's a meme from the Naruto fandom about how Naruto talked a lot of his enemies out of continuing their evil/chaotic acts that they thought were true justice, causing the Collector to either mature up a little or to not take games as seriously enough to the point where he feels the need to literally bend reality to enjoy himself. I wanted to add Luz into this possibility because not only is she our main character, so having her triumph over the final obstacle would be fitting for a show's conclusion, but she'd be the most likely character out of the entire cast to come to an understanding with the Collector. King said it himself in O Titan, Where Art Thou? She's befriended more enemies than he has claws on his paw. And I think we can all agree the Collector isn't an inherently evil character like Belos was. It seems pretty clear that he just wants to have friends and play games, especially after we saw how he acted when King first dreamt about him at the beginning of O Titan, Where Art Thou? Yeah, homie just wants some company for once. Considering how much of a young soul the Collector has, it doesn't seem too far-fetched for something like this to happen. Him being so young also means he's likely very impressionable. He's got godly powers, yeah, but it's not the same as someone like Bill Cipher who had a clear-cut goal in mind and was smart enough to execute it. Hence why just talking to Bill would never work in a million years. The Collector, though, it's just not the same. We'll have to see what happens, though. I'm curious what you guys think. How do you think the Collector will be dealt with in Season 3? Do you agree with any of the possible outcomes I listed in this video? Or do you have any other ideas about how the Collector will be dealt with? I'd love to know your thoughts. Also, huge shout out to Bone for the art they did on this thumbnail. They never failed to deliver some of the highest quality art I've ever gotten. They've done previous work on my channel as well as for my buddies over at the Roundtable, so definitely check them out if you're interested in getting art made, especially if it's Owl House or Amphibia related. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like down below. It helps out a ton. But for now, I will see you guys next time. Peace out. Take care. Bye-bye.